Hi, this is Steve, the coach, Fittestover40, and today I thought I'd do a little video telling you how I got started running and how I got to where I'm at today. So probably like a lot of you, I started running in junior high school. Actually didn't run in 7th grade, had a little injury and was unable to run. So started in 8th grade, did decent, generally got beat by the older runners, but didn't do too bad. 9th grade progressed pretty well and continued to progress all through high school. My senior year, pretty good, qualified for state, but I think I only got 7th or 10th place at state in Maryland for the 2-mile run. My PRs, 4:35 for the mile, 10:01, and 16:52, I believe, for cross country. Went and ran at the University of Oklahoma for a couple of years. Again, continued to progress all through college. Did have another knee injury there, so it kind of put me out of cross country my sophomore year in indoor, but by outdoor track I was healthy again and was improving pretty well. Beginning of my 3rd year, unfortunately, I returned home and then just stopped running and started just doing, typical weekend stuff of playing basketball, a little bit of tennis. Got into golf in my 30s, and by 40, got in the gym, started lifting weights again, just trying to get, stronger, bigger, get back in shape a little bit. So at 42, ran my first race in 21 years. Didn't really train for it. Was pretty much a fitness runner, I guess, at best. But ran pretty nice. Went out 5:25, 5:27, I believe, somewhere, and ran at 18:27. After a couple of years, I broke the course record there with the 16:52. Once I did that, I decided that, okay, I'm going to take it serious and really see how good I can get. And of course, when you do that, you kind of ramp up the intensity of the training a little too much, and you get those overuse running injuries. So I was getting, the AT, the hamstring strain, plantar fascia, a lot of different things. I was still trying to race, but I really had trouble running fast. So I ended up just entering several triathlons, figuring that, when you get off the bike, you're not exactly, tearing off real fast. The legs are real heavy. You're kind of working your way into pace. So it seemed like that could be a manageable way for me to compete. And it worked out well. I had a good time. I really recall only one try that the injury actually bothered me and affected my time. So after around 2 years of injuries keeping me from really going after a PR, I realized I needed to do something. And 3 things kind of happened to turn it around for me. One was I discovered the Masters track meets. So when I came across that, it was, okay, now I can, go back to running a mile. That should be pretty exciting, and I'm going to enter a pentathlon, see how I can do in that, a multi-event. I think that's right up my alley. So that was one thing. I kind of felt like I had done all I could do with the road races as far as at least the 5K. So was anxious to get on the track, so that provided some new motivation. The second thing was to apply some patience and start thinking midterm instead of short term. So I was constantly looking at the next race that was 4 weeks away, thinking, I got an injury, I got to get the training in so I have a chance at a PR, because if I don't PR this one in 4 weeks, the next one's another 8 weeks. How am I going to do it then? I'm just going to be another 8 weeks older. So that was the thinking then, and it definitely did not work as I kept forcing the training. So I kind of stopped that, started thinking, looking at the whole year and what I'd like to accomplish for that range, and not believing that the very next race was the end-all be-all, that I could actually miss it. So that was a big help, but the next thing was I needed to really increase the education and learn how to train better, how the body worked. I was reading different books on running books with coaching philosophies, learning some stuff, and wanted to know how the neuromuscular system worked and how our energy systems work. So I got certified for personal training and for sports conditioning specialist, which that course was excellent. Really developed about half the warm-up I do now from what I learned in that, and really stresses the importance of mobility and stability in the body, and how important, if you have some imbalances from right to left, how that's probably affecting your running or lifting and causing the potential for injury there. So with that, I was just really learning how to train better. And again, as I got on the track, things just kept progressing each year. The pentathlon was getting better. The 1500 was getting better. I started adding the shorter 400 meter to my racing, something I had never done in high school or college, and just continued to progress all the way till last year when I turned 50. The thought was, if I could hang on to my level from 49, I'll be set pretty good at 50. I'll be ranked pretty high. Fortunately, I continued to improve and had 10 PRs at 50 from all the way 200 right through the 3K. Every event I did better. So a really great year for me. And that is, I think, achieved by not resting on what worked in the past. So what worked for me in 49, I didn't redo at 50. In the off season, I changed it up. You can't just do the same stuff between races, or if you have, a spring, summer race season and then fall, winter is your off season. You can't just do the same thing you've done it. No matter how successful it was, you have to change things up so that you're building some new cellular adaptations. So that's one aspect of how I've had some success. But another is, I think, really how the mental side, how you look at it. And I'm very competitive, and I'm always looking, how can I get better, and is there something I can be the best at? Well, you don't know if there's something you can be the best at unless you actually find out what the competition is so that you can set goals. There's so many runners out there, they don't even know really what's out there. They just go, the good runners, they just go to their races and, well, I won, or, won my age group. Some of them are very good, and if they probably just applied themselves a little more with that goal, whether it's a state record or an American record, could go after that. But you have to know. So I came across American and world records for track, and I came across South Carolina state records. And that thinking even came back previously with the very first race I ran is the biggest race we have in this area. And they actually keep track of the course records. So I found that for the very next year. As soon as I found that, the Masters course record for the 5K, I said, I'm going to get that. I know I can get it. Even though it was a whole minute faster than what I had done the previous year, I felt confident that I could train a little harder and get it, which I was able to accomplish that. And with the South Carolina state records, when I came across that, I saw different ones in the 45 age group, like the 1500. I knew I could get. The 800 was really fast. I fell a little bit short of that. The 400, I almost got that. Just again, fell just a little bit short. I got the mile. So yeah, as I moved on to 50, I looked at the 50 records and I was just checking them off. I can get that. I'm pretty sure I can get that. Hopefully I can get that. Everything worked out good. I set 10 records last year in 8 different events and was ready to move on to this year. Fortunately, I had a little strain in the off season on the piriformis, doing some functional training that I took a course the previous fall and got a certification for functional strength training. So I was applying this in my workouts, and not that I felt a strain that given day, but it was very sore the next day, and the soreness just kind of hung around. So I was only able to get one race in. The injury was definitely affecting my acceleration, but that was about it. And it wasn't, once I really got warmed up well, it wasn't a whole lot of time loss. Just a little bit of lost off the starting line, getting up to speed. But I had a good 400 hurdle race this year. I beat my time from last year, so again, a PR, and hit All-American, so it was pretty good. I fell a little bit short of a state record. So right now I'm getting physical therapy and I'm getting this straightened out. I'm again doing a lot of functional strength exercises and hope to be ready to go in a little while, and I'll be ready to compete again next year, and hopefully I can do some good things next year. So until then, everybody keep running and keep the faith.